All right, what's up, everyone? I am Logan Davis. I am a co-owner of Now This Is Wrestling. Before I bring Jeremy Lubash in, the founder and co-owner of Now This Is Wrestling, I just want to open it up for you guys. Please leave questions throughout. We will have a time that we answer questions. We want this to be as interactive as possible. It's our chance to connect with you guys because we haven't seen you in so long. I know Jeremy will be giving his State of the Union. Um, there will be some things that I'll have to say too. So definitely, again, leave your comments as we go along, and we will get to them. We'll pop you up on the screen, and should be a pretty informational time. So without further ado, here is Jeremy Lubash, founder of Now This Is Wrestling, with the State of the Union.
Hello, everybody. I was going to try to be really political here. I was going to have like some flags behind me, make it look like I was at the White House in the Oval Office, but I figured that's not our style. So I'm just going to kind of dive into it here a little bit. I did type up something that I'm going to read. I figure it's best to type things up. I know what I want to say, but sometimes when you're live in the heat of things, you kind of forget what you want to say. So this way it'll be exactly from the heart what I want to say. So bear with me while I read this State of the Union address here. So it is no secret that the year 2020 has been a year that will go down in history as one of the worst in recent times. Sadly, many lives have been lost, businesses have been forced to shut down to never reopen, and people have been forced to now more than ever look out for one another and keep each other healthy. Unfortunately, Now This Is Wrestling is no different than any other business out there. We, like many other businesses, have been affected by this pandemic. Our scheduled show that was to take place on May 2nd, called Now This Is Arson City, was canceled due to COVID-19. It was well on its way to being a sold-out show, but between us and the venue it was to be held at, we agreed it would be best for everyone's health and well-being not to go on with the show. It was a hard decision to make, given our past history with shows, but in the grand scheme of things, it was actually a very easy decision to make. Safety is and has always been a top priority to us here at Now This Is Wrestling. Myself and Logan have both been carefully watching things in this world on a daily basis and have had many conversations about when and if Now was going to start back up. A summer show was in the works, but given the severity that this virus has and still is causing, we decided not to do a show. A late summer or early fall show has been in the works as well, which leads me to the main topic of the State of the Now This Is Wrestling address. We have always referred to everyone here and now as the Now Fam or Now Family. That isn't just some catchphrase. That is truly how we feel about everyone, from the fans to the performers to the crew, and even those that work for the venue we are having a show at. Logan and myself are both huge family people and feel that family is everything. Family is supposed to look out for one another and keep each other safe. So with that sentiment, we have decided that Now This Is Wrestling will not be putting on a show for the remainder of 2020. As it sits now, we are looking at a late winter or early spring for our next show. Now, I'm not speaking for Logan, but on my behalf, I feel it is not the time to be putting on events that involve a large social gathering. This virus is spreading rapidly throughout the United States and the world, and unfortunately, I don't feel that enough people are taking the proper precautions to slow the spread of this virus that has taken the lives of so many people. I don't want to get into a debate about this because everyone is entitled to their opinions. It has been proven that starting events back up has caused the virus to spread. Baseball has had several confirmed COVID cases with their athletes and has shown it spread rapidly throughout the team. As football is set to start back up, I feel that it too will have the same outcome. One thing we were going to do if we went through with a summer or even a fall show was require all fans to wear masks and social distance at the show. Mask mandates are definitely a hot topic, and by us requiring fans to wear a mask, it would have definitely sparked some issues right off the bat. Social distancing sounds like a good idea on paper, but watching other wrestling promotions all around the United States that have started up with shows, as the show progresses, the social distancing quickly fades away. We here at Now will never put profit over safety. It would be the absolute most heartbreaking scenario if one of our family members, whether it be a fan or a performer, were to contract COVID from one of our shows. We do not want anyone to get this disease, whether they are in good health or not, because there have been people who have passed away from this that were in perfect health. Now also has always put entertainment value above profits, which could be why we have had such a rocky existence. It is no secret after our first show in 2016, we had to cancel our second show. It wasn't until last summer that Now made their return and put on 3 shows. Our shows bring a different kind of entertainment. We put a lot of money, a lot of our own money from our own pockets, to bring these shows to the fans. I have always loved entertaining people and have sunk in thousands upon thousands of dollars from my own pockets, never to see a return in that money, and I gladly go on still doing it because I believe in entertainment value and bringing joy to as many people as I possibly can. But as stated previously, I will not risk the safety and health of anyone in the process. So with that being said, I promise you that Now we'll be back in 2021 with another amazing show with some of the best talent from all around. Logan and I, along with others in the Now family, will spend these next several months planning our return show whenever we feel it is safe to. Until then, we ask everyone to please stay safe and be kind to one another. Thank you for the support you have given Now over the years. It has been an absolute blessing to be able to help bring you professional wrestling over these last several years. So that is my State of the Union address.
Sounds good, but I do want to address one thing, Jeremy. And I will be honest with the Now fans. Jeremy and I haven't really been around each other during this time. It's been a lot of distance, and I've moved to Persia, Iowa, which is about an hour outside of Omaha. But I think what might be best for me, and this is pretty much the first time Jeremy's hearing this, but it might be best for me to step away from the Now brand for a while. There's a lot of just want to take care of my family, refocus on video production. There's a lot of thoughts going in my head with a lot of things, and I think there's really no definite time if I come back. But at this moment in time, I think I will be stepping away from the Now brand, putting it back in your hands, Jeremy. But I want tonight, just to kind of be an open forum. I still have invested a lot into Now. I still love the Now brand. I still have enjoyed my friendship, many years of friendship with Jeremy over the years too. So I know it's a bit of a shock to you, Jeremy, but we could talk a little bit more after this call, but it's a decision I just had to make. There's a lot of passion that's kind of, my mental health has kind of really taken a hit too during this pandemic. It was the high of highs, and just kind of see it all ripped away after a while. And there's just some things that I want to focus on. And wrestling is probably, I hate to say it, it's really not on the forefront of the mind right now. So.
Kind of a bummer, but we've always, like I said in the State of the Union address, everybody's safety and health is very important, including ours. And I know you always have your plate full with a lot of things, and I wish people could see exactly everything that you do behind the scenes for the Now This Is Wrestling shows and even in between shows. But yeah, it's always best to kind of make sure your mental health above everything else is healthy, I guess. You really miss. I definitely think we do need to talk after this. I don't know that's necessarily a conversation that needs to be had live.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all that being said, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, we feel it's best not to do a show for the remainder of 2020. I personally, and people know I am a very strong believer, in wearing a mask and.
I will say that was your phone, by the way, because I shifted. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a little bit of humor there. I heard the buzz. That was Jeremy's phone. I swear to God. All right.
But yeah, so and this isn't meaning now is not going away. That's one thing that people always. I've gotten a lot of grief over the years. We put on a great first show back in 2016. We had to cancel our second show. That was strictly a business decision. And that's the thing about now, people don't realize that now this is wrestling is a legit business. Like we went through the proper steps to make sure that now was legit, and we have to be smart business people with this company. And ever since now started, if we would have went on and put on a second show, that would have been done. We wouldn't have had enough money to put on the next one. But yeah, and then we did the August show, which was almost a year ago in a few days, phase 2, which was probably one of the best shows that Now has put on. Nothing against the other ones, but we unfortunately had to cancel the October show. That was supposed to fall after that, but that was, as I stated, we put a lot of money into these shows to give the fans something different. It costs money to bring in these different name talents. And it's just, we have to look at things a little bit differently. And, financially, by canceling the May show, I mean, the company did take a hit, unfortunately, but not enough to keep us down. We just needed to think about the fans' safety right now. And that's the most important reason why we're not doing any more shows in 2020. As I said, I would just be heartbroken if somebody were to get COVID from one of our shows.
And I think something that we've always prided ourselves from the very beginning, it's an all-inclusive, it's family. We use Now Fam a lot, and it's not like a catchy phrase. It's not something to, be cool or anything. It's legit family, to have the support that we've built, to have the family that's behind the scenes, from the talent to the production crew to people who just showed up to help set up a ring. They're part of the family, and to have an environment where not everyone feels included, whether you agree with everything or whether you are in disagreement and have your own thoughts on the whole COVID situation. I just feel like it's physically impossible if we were to have a show in 2020 to have everyone have that all-inclusive and feel safe and feel like, if they didn't wear a mask, would they be scrutinized to no end? If they did wear a mask, would they actually feel safe? Because whatever the case may be. So.
And yeah, I know people have suggested us doing like live stream shows, like PPV type show, PPI, whatever they're called, the pay-per-view stuff. Logan, you're the technical person when it comes to that stuff, not me. But it's not the same. If you can't have a big crowd there for a sporting event or a live event, to me it's not the same. I mean, I personally can't watch like WWE or AEW without like an actual crowd. Yeah, I know that they put like other performers and students and stuff there in the crowd to make crowd noise, but it's not the same as a real, like father bringing his son to a show and whatnot. So and that's the same all sports. The baseball, football, if there's no fans in the crowd, it's just not the same. And I just feel like we'd be cheating the fans out of an actual good experience if we did a show without fans or just had the locker room surrounding the ring or whatever. So,
and I think I expressed too, it's really, it is a risk to, I guess, financially and the business side too, to run empty arena. I mean, you got to look at facility. You got to find a facility. You got to pay the talent. I don't think we've ever prided ourselves on, shortchanging our talent. Even if we can't even pay them like $10, it's going to be heavy, at least on my heart, from it too. Like, cause I mean, they put their bodies on the line for that too. Production crew, they pretty much take a whole day to set things up.
And then the whole show.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much that whole show aspect, and it's the risk of, will people buy this online? I feel we have the streaming capabilities, we have multicam setups, kind of did it at our face too. We had that small sampling where we had the pre-show. You know, it was legit, like 3 cameras, commentary. We have the resources, but is it worth the financial risk of, you know, risking not paying workers, not paying production crew? Honestly, I'm at the point too, you know, like after a couple shows hasn't been like the greatest profit at all. I don't mind if I don't get paid. It goes right back into the company. Um, and I think that's been like the a really hard time for me, and why one of the reasons I'm stepping away. It's really trying to find my footing again, because again it was, to be blunt, it was a financial risk with now. It was, and it's not saying that it didn't pay off, and it won't pay off, but it's really took a toll on it, and it just kind of focus. It took a lot of passion. You know, you question yourself: did I do the right thing? Should I have taken this risk, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll be finding that passion again, really focusing on that video production aspect of, you know, free captive productions. And yeah, it's mental. I mean, take care of yourselves too. I know this is kind of a whole nother tangent, but mental health, it's hitting a lot of people too, and it's I feel like me lately, I've had a lot of thoughts, a lot of them, and I want to find that passion again. I want to center myself again. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. I want to make sure, you know, that if I'm going to do something, it's full hearted. It's not, you know, half hearted or out of obligation from friendship, and stuff like that too. I know it's a little tangent, but again, just take care of yourselves out there, because I know it's rough for a lot of people.
It's rough. It's uncertain out there. I mean, I think it's a nice thought to think that, yeah, everyone says we're going to get back to normal, but I mean, will we ever get back to normal, what it really was? I would like to think that the world's going to get better than where it is right now. And I know I said that 2021 we're planning a show late winter, maybe early spring, but as we get closer to 2021, who knows what this world's going to bring to us? You know, we may, once 2021 hits, things could be worse. I mean, numbers could be even more crazy. I mean, they will be more crazy. Obviously, COVID's not going away anytime soon, but are we definitely? Did I freeze up there? I feel like I'm frozen.
You're good. You might have okay. I'm good on my end.
Okay, well, my screen's frozen as long as I'm still there. But yeah, we'll just see what 2021 brings us. So,
I guess we've had a couple questions rolling in. I guess one of the hot ones too. We were talking about now. This is Arson City. Couple things. I mean, whether I'm not back for the show or not. I know it's been discussed internally that the show isn't exactly canceled, more postponed, looking at hopefully spring of next year. Fingers crossed for that. But another big thing is that struck the wrestling world lately was the speaking out movement. And one of our main guests, Jimmy Havoc, you know, good old Bach Elder. I know you guys have history. Has a question there. Are you two going to keep Jimmy Havoc booked, even though what he's been accused of? I know internally we had that discussion that we would be going a different direction. Haven't really made that information public yet because, I mean, it's at that standstill. But I guess what are your visions? You know, if there is a show now taking on the company solely, is there a plan in the spring for another national act? Is there what is your plan?
I mean, we owe the fans now. This is Arson City. I know Arson City is still on board with it, and I apologize too if I'm not centered or whatever. Like I said, my screen is frozen over here, so I can't see anything live right now. But as for Jimmy Havoc, yeah, from a moral standpoint, and it's not wise to really have him there. I know some people are bummed out about that. You know, everyone has their right to their opinion on the subject matter. But yeah, we definitely, we promised Jimmy Havoc, so we're definitely going to look into somebody that's the caliber of Jimmy Havoc to bring in as his replacement. But as for a name right now, I don't have any name in mind right now. Like I said, this pandemic is kind of taking over right now. Once things start getting more concrete and we have a date in mind, then we'll start looking into some of the names and stuff. But as of right now, don't have anybody in particular in mind, but we will make up for for Jimmy Havoc not being a part of Now This Is Arson City.
Yeah, that was another whole topic for another day. I know it was covered in the Now the Final Word podcast, which I guess that brings me on to my next point too. That's been kind of on hiatus. I know Ryan was joining. I don't know if he's still around too, but kind of taking a brief break on that. If you kind of want to explain more, what is the status on Now the Final Word?
So as of right now, it is kind of just on the back burner. It's not completely gone. I know Lonnie stepped away from it. I won't get into reasons why. He has his reasons. If he wants to come forward and explain a little bit more in detail, he can. But our last episode was kind of a bummer of Now the Final Word being hijacked by Alan Shepard, who, I thought that he would have been the one that would be the most on board with Now This Is Wrestling, since he was the first ever Now champion. We've done a lot for him. I'm not saying that we made him, but we've done a lot for him. But he seems to be the most anti Now This Is Wrestling person out there, and he's hell bent on destroying us. He kind of left a damper on things, and we had another podcast scheduled the following week, but we just none of us were our heads weren't in it. But even before that, there, and I say this in the nicest way possible, but professional wrestling all around has just been stale with this whole pandemic. I mean, companies had to shut down, independent companies. I mean, the only company that kept going was WWE, and were they right to keep going on? I don't know. But there's just not much to report on, both in Now This Is Wrestling and professional wrestling. So I felt like the episodes were just going to start getting more redundant. Not much to talk about. We tried having like a new structure to the podcast, but to try to breathe life back into it. But it's just nothing against Lonnie and Ryan. They both did fantastic hosting the Now the Final Word podcast.
Absolutely.
They did great. But I just feel that right now it's best to just kind of put it on the back burner, and when the time is right, bring it back.
I think more or less, obviously hot topic, me leaving, but I think a lot of benefit to use to kind of step away and maybe restructure some things too, and come back strong in 2021. I know addressing the whole Alan Shepard thing, and I didn't really say much after that one. That one was a shocker to us, and yeah, I guess more or less just kind of refresh. I mean, 2020 is kind of a complete wash, and it really sucks. We didn't want it to be. We were trying very hard behind the scenes. I know I was actively looking at a lot of shows in Iowa, considering me moving there. But then I found out the grand old stuff of behind this, or basically what you need to do to run a show in Iowa. The athletic commission seemed kind of a bit of a chore. So again, if we ever run an Iowa show, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that'll have to happen. So,
and being a legit business, you've got to follow the rules.
So
it's dangerous. So.
It was like I said, it just seemed to be roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and I think that really takes a that takes a hit on the mental health, So I think it's obviously I'm taking the break, but I feel like it's best for everyone to kind of just step back, refresh the rest of the year, and hopefully now this is wrestling as a whole can come back very strong in 2021. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm kind of looking through like some other questions too. But I did see something on Facebook today because I got tagged on it, and and let me go ahead and get this ready to pull up real quick. But it's quite interesting. You know what I'm talking about. But I just kind of want to make sure that the fans kind of know what we're referring to here. So right over here we have Brett Bishop. Hey, now this is wrestling. Heard you're doing a QA thingy tonight. Well, I just married this past Friday, and it couldn't be a party without the revolution in attendance. Joe DeSanti and I were having a great time until we started thinking about why the hell we haven't seen tag titles in now. So I have two questions for you. Where are the tag titles? And when do Logan Uncaged and I get our shot? So go ahead and if you got an answer for that one, Jeremy.
I do. Brett Bishop's just had it out for me ever since we brought him to now. I mean, a year ago, I tried shaking his hand and wishing him luck, and he kind of threw that back in my face. And then just today, I wished him and Joe DeSanti congratulations on their marriage. I think they'll have a happy life together. And then he kind of got a little mad about that. But I told Brett Bishop I would address his questions tonight on this live stream about first where are the tag titles and now this is wrestling, and when do him and Logan Uncaged get a shot? Well, Brett Bishop, here is your answer from me, and that is 0 and 3. I'll let you figure out what that means.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw there, but I'll pull it up again. Joe is now a part of the stream today, and sorry I'm late, punks. Okay.
he's a married man now, I guess. So he's got to get permission to be on here from Brett. I mean, as I've said before, and we've said before, when we have grand plans to bring in more titles into now this is wrestling, but going back, like this whole pandemic, I mean, obviously it sucks, but you've said it before, Logan, and I have too, that we were hitting our stride when this pandemic hit and we had to cancel our show. I mean, like, now this is Arson City was well on its way to being a sold out show. We had big plans, but once we get our stride back again, we're going to build these divisions. And right now, I personally don't think the tag division is anywhere where it needs to be to reward it by bringing in tag titles. Do I think the Revolution deserves to be contenders for those tag titles when we do bring them in? Maybe, but I mean, what other tag teams do we really have right now? And now this is wrestling. I mean, they can make the argument all day long that they deserve a title shot, but it's like they haven't had competition. And as I said before, with the 0 and 3, Brett Bishop, I mean, he hasn't even proven that he can do things in the ring on his own. So I don't know why I would reward him with a tag title shot.
That's true. We did get a response from Joe. My fist is going to marry your face if you don't watch it, Lou Bash. And big plans, hit and stride, blah blah blah, all excuses. So, I mean, typical Joe.
Let's see it, big boy. You run your mouth a lot and stuff like that. I want to see this. I honestly don't hate the Revolution. I actually like them. I think they have potential, but I feel like they're doing a lot more of this than actual proving their points in the ring. So,
yeah, I've Logan Uncaged. I see a lot of potential in him. We got to keep on bringing it up, but I don't know if you're still going to carry that on, but I offered him a title shot of his choosing at any time, any place, but he has to drop the Revolution first. He has to drop Joe.
Yeah, he's going to have to walk away from mommy and daddy, Joe and Brett. I mean, I'm going to honor that still. I think that's a great thing. The guy has potential, and I think the biggest thing holding him back right now is the guy that's leading his group, and that's Joe DeSanti.
Yeah. Well, I guess does Logan Uncaged really want to take on someone like the Buns of Steel, who I absolutely miss too? Jay Fowler, current now this is wrestling champion, just won an epic match, in February against Matt Cross. Like somebody who has been around the world like 5, 7 times, who knows, has hit almost every country. He beat him to retain the Now title. And, I don't know if Logan Uncaged, if he does cash that in, if he's exactly there yet to go against somebody as crafty and those Buns, man. I mean, I can only imagine how stronger they're getting during quarantine. I mean, you've seen the videos he makes. I mean, he has, his hashtags, and he's warming up the Buns. He's going to be ready whenever Now This Wrestling returns.
Speaking of Jay Fowler, I mean, he was getting set to take on Airwolf at Now This Is Arson City, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that match happens still.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to kind of comb through more of the comments. I know we've been kind of throwing you guys up on the screens throughout with comments. There's been a couple questions that came through. I know one, I know it's kind of hard to forecast, but one of my favorite things about February was the pre-show party that happened. And Matt Patton, our number one fan, as I'll call him, he will the pre-show party be a staple of Now shows going forward?
I would like them to be. I think that was for something that we are trying for the first time. I think that it went well. I think the fans were engaged and had fun with it. I know the talent had fun with it, so it's definitely something that we are going to try to do. Maybe not every show, but some of our bigger shows, absolutely, we're gonna have that fan access beforehand. So
yeah, it was quite a fun time. Like there were some kinks. It was the first time, but man, it seemed like a fun time. Fans could just let loose and get prepared for the big show at hand. So hopefully that happens. Again, I know a couple other questions, can we please have Jessica Havoc back? I'll answer that too. I think Jessica Havoc is always more than welcome. And Now This Is Wrestling. Great person. Always been fun to hang out with. And go ahead and give her some support and some love too over on, I know she streams a lot on Twitch and all that stuff. And I know, again, there's not a lot of answers, Jeremy. Everything's kind of it's a muddy mess, but I know there's been a wave, unfortunately, of people who are let go in the bigger companies like WWE. So I kind of want to give you this forum right now. Like, is there, and this is a Matt Patton question, is there any wrestler you would love to see compete in now? And let's go ahead and try to pull from that list of, if you can kind of remember, of a lot of the big names that were released, unfortunately, back in spring.
Well, I know quite a few of them have already went to AEW. And that's the thing too. I had kind of mentioned this in the live stream for the last Ryan RVL, where they were bowling and stuff. Somebody kind of asked that question, and I touched base on it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people I'd love to see in Bring to Now, but every day is a different day. I know Logan says this a lot. We got to take things day by day. There could be somebody that we want on our comeback show in 2021, but by the time it rolls around, who knows where they're going to be? A lot of people have kind of been losing passion in wrestling. They step away from wrestling or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of names on that list. One thing I've always thought about was, just because somebody was freshly released from WWE doesn't mean that that's automatically somebody that's gonna draw the attention of people. Not taking anything away from those people; they worked hard to get to their spot in WWE. But I I feel that we look at things a little bit differently with bringing people in to Now This Is Wrestling, to where we want to make sure that they're going to be a performer in that ring. You know, a name is one thing, but being able to perform in that ring is another thing. And you know, yeah, we could bring in somebody like well, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to get talked to about things, talking down about maybe somebody. But you know, I just look at the people we've brought in lately. I mean, Madman Fulton and Duke Cornell, and probably one of the best matches in Now history. I know we've only had 4 shows, but you know, that match is one that people are still talking about. It's going to go down in history as one of the best matches in Now. And of course, Fowler and Matt Cross, Havoc and Kimberly, Havoc and Marty Bell. I mean, we look at athletes in a different way. We do. It is funny because every time a WWE wrestler is released, I get messages from people saying, "Are you going to book them in Now?" and stuff.
Me too.
I would love to be able to book everybody, but you know, there is a criteria of that we put on performers and who we'd be bringing into Now, especially when we're going to be spending money on these people too. We want to make sure that we're going to get our money's worth out of them. So just believe me when I say that we're watching these free agents as closely as the fans are, and we will try not to disappoint. I don't think we've disappointed anybody that we've brought in so far, so hopefully we can keep that streak going.
Agreed. Well, I know for a fact I'll be kind of watching from the sidelines. I know I wish you all the best. I'm hoping to reset myself, focus on the family, find that fire again, because it's been gone for a bit, and I think I'm kind of combing through the questions. There's really not left, and I know we've been going about 40 minutes, so people probably want to go out, get something to eat. And
well, according to my frozen screen, we've only been going for 20 minutes and 40 seconds.
You're on your phone, right?
Yes.
See, this is why you should always have an iPhone, kids.
It's burning through battery like nobody's business. I was at like 60-some% battery life, and I'm at 28% right now.
So I know Geneva, who just got married, so congratulations to Geneva. Now has never disappointed us yet, so that means a lot. So, and if there's one person who's been and supported all wrestling too, it has been Geneva. There's a wrestling show, she's there. So hearing that from her,
I want to say too is, you know, we've always told people, you know, there's so much wrestling around the area, and we're not telling people not to check out other promotions in the Midwest around the area. I mean, people should in the Midwest should feel like there are so many indie promotions out there, and I challenge people, like, look around, check out all these things. I mean, like you said with Geneva, I mean, she's a fan of all wrestling, and that's fantastic. And you know, so check out. I mean, look, the Iowa has a lot of places. The Midwest just has so many promotions, and you know, you're not going to be bored with them. So
yeah. So yeah, there's hopefully wrestling as a whole gets on the up and up. I know there's there's still wrestling going on, so try to support it if you can. You know, just support it. You know, whether or not we can have a show or not, it doesn't affect us and our feelings towards other shows that are happening too. You know, that is their business. Go out and support them. If you love indie wrestling, it takes you, the fans, to make it continue. So wherever show may be, you know, I know there's a big show that, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to. It's the Black Wrestlers Matter show. That's in a couple weeks. That's a stacked card, one that's going to be for the ages, and some people we've had on Now shows before too. You know, so I'm very excited to see them show their stuff. It's going to be huge. One other thing, I noticed we have another another person on the stream too, and he Duke Cordell. Did I miss you guys talking about how good I am? You know what? We've had our differences, Duke. I think there's no bigger respect than I have for Duke Cornell after that match with Madman Fulton, which we did have it free for a while. It is, if you haven't seen it yet, watch it now. Otherwise, the only way you'll be able to see it is on Independent Wrestling TV. But it was an epic match. So there's so much respect. I know you guys definitely have had your differences before too. But I feel like it's kind of going full circle right now, considering he was one of the ones targeted by the one and only Alan Shepard.
And I don't know if Duke's joking or not because of what we said earlier, but yeah, actually we were talking you up. We're just talking about how you and Madman Fulton is probably one of the best matches in now history. So, and like you said, Logan, Duke, you know, it may have taken a while to get there, but you know, I do have the utmost respect for the guy. He's done a lot in this business and has made a name for himself, and he's always keeping things fresh, and that's, I think, something that's important in the professional wrestling world, is to keep things fresh, keep yourself fresh, and he knows how to do it. So
Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. There's a lot to process. Please rewatch this if you just caught us in the middle of it, especially towards the beginning. Your State of the Union and my announcement of stepping out of my role and stepping out of now for, you know, the indefinite future. But
I also want to add Darren Corbin and Justin Dier. Do not think we haven't forgot about your Now This Is Money joint custody win. That is something that is going to still take place, unfortunately, in 2021 though.
I know we have the footage. There's no way we could forget. I mean, and our fans haven't forgot what happened at that show too. So I know without a doubt, whether I'm back or not, you won't forget those things. Now This Is Arson City, with the exception of Jimmy Havoc, still looking to hopefully go on in 2021. More details as we kind of get closer and get over this nightmare of a year or two. So again, like I said, just because we're not around, at least for the rest of the year, that does not mean that you should not go out and support indie wrestling all over the place. It's all over, you know, South Dakota, Iowa. I don't know if Missouri's having any shows, but I'm sure there's shows out there. Go check them out. Support your favorite wrestlers. If they're having a stream, check that out too. Every little bit helps. So, like I said, whether I'm here or not, 2021, I know now will have a strong start, and we'll be back strong. It's not going anywhere, and we'll see you hopefully, guys, in 2021. So, all right, Jeremy, I think you and I got a little bit more to discuss on the business end.
Yep.
And we will hopefully see you guys again soon.
Thank you, everybody.